हेलो दोस्तों, दिस इज भारत कुमार एंड यू आर वाचिंग माय चैनल निर्मल इन्फो अपडेट्स।
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Boeing is assisting the U.S. Air Force in answering questions coming from the Indian Air Force (IAF) about the capabilities of the F-15X aircraft, said a top official of the aerospace giant on Wednesday, at a time when India is in the process of purchasing 114 new fighter jets. Bharat Kumar, Boeing Vice President and F-15 Program Manager, said at a webinar, India is there for a large 114 jet acquisition program. We are waiting for the ASCRS, Air Staff Qualitative Requirements, the requirements definitions, because right now, until we have that, we do not know if this jet is in the sweet spot or not. The process of acquisition of fighter jets begins once the user requirements or ASCRS are set by the IAF. Right now, we are supporting the U.S. Air Force in whatever shape, way or form we can to answer any questions they have coming from the Indian Air Force about F-15X, Kumar added. In April last year, the IAF issued an RFI, Request for Information, or initial tender to acquire 114 jets at a cost of around USD 18 billion, which is billed as one of the world's biggest military procurements in recent years. Lockheed SF-21, Boeing's F/A-18, Dassault Aviation's Rafale, Russian aircraft MiG-35 and Subscription are some of the other fighter jets that are in the fray for this deal. The government-to-government exchange is answering the questions around F-15X, so that they, IAF, can have basic capability requirements which they can factor into their ASCRS definition. So, we are very much waiting for the next steps, both from the US government side in terms of getting a marketing license, and also from the Indian Air Force in terms of them defining ASCRS to get into that tender in a really meaningful way, Kumar said. We have no clarity on what will be the policy regime under which these jets will be acquired by India. Once that is defined, we will discuss with India and figure out a right way to support that campaign, he added. The outcome of the marathon 15-hour-long fourth round of core commander-level talks between India and China was discussed by the China Study Group, CSG, headed by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval on Wednesday, July 16th. The CSG comprises the Cabinet Secretary, the Secretaries of Home, External Affairs and Defense as well as representatives of the Indian Army, Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. It will take a call on the further course of action on the graded, mutual de-escalation along the line of actual control, LAC, in Ladakh, which may be a long-drawn process stretching into several weeks. The Northern Army Commander, Lt. Y.K. Joshi, is expected to brief the CSG on the developments along the LAC. Similar discussions are reported to have been held by the Chinese side after Tuesday's meeting in Chesil. The meeting of Lt. level commanders ended at 2 on Wednesday, indicating a partial progress. Though the details of the dialogue between the two sides are not known, it is believed that the talks mainly focused on the second phase of disengagement along the line of actual control, LAC. The talks were significant because this was the first meeting between senior officials of Indian and Chinese troops after the first phase of disengagement along LAC. Chinese Foreign Ministry has said the talks would help in easing the border situation. Global Times also quoted the Chinese Foreign Ministry on Wednesday as saying the border troops of China and India held their fourth commander-level talks on Tuesday, with the two sides making positive progress in further disengaging the frontline troops in the western section of the border during the course of the intense and complex negotiations between senior commanders of the two armies that lasted nearly 15 hours. The Indian delegation apprised the Chinese People's Liberation Army about the red lines and conveyed that the onus was largely on China to improve the overall situation in the region, government sources told PTI New Delhi. The Indian delegation was led by Lt. Harinder Singh, the commander of the Leh-based 14 Corps, while the Chinese side was headed by the commander of the South Xinjiang military region Majgen Yulin. According to reports from the British media, the Royal Navy's brand new £3 billion aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth will be deployed to the South China Sea to take part in military drills with the US Navy and Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces. Royal Navy HMS Queen Elizabeth to be deployed to South China Sea for military drills. July News 2020 Navy Naval Maritime Defence Industry July 16, 2020. According to reports from the British media, the Royal Navy's brand new £3 billion aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth will be deployed to the South China Sea to take part in military drills with the U.S. Navy and Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces. Follow Navy recognition on Google News at this link. Royal Navy HMS Queen Elizabeth to be deployed to South China Sea for military drills. 925,001. The HMS Queen Elizabeth is expected to conduct military drills with the United States and Japan. Picture source: Daniel Shepard/Mott/Pa. The HMS Queen Elizabeth will set sail next year according to new plans from military chiefs. HMS Queen Elizabeth expected to visit the Far East during Grand Maiden Voyage. The £3 billion aircraft carrier will reportedly carry out joint military exercises. It comes amid growing political tension between the government and Beijing Ministry of Defense says no decision has yet been taken on carrier's deployment. The aircraft carrier is set to be accompanied by a fleet of warships, including 2 Type 45 destroyers and 2 frigates. HMS Queen Elizabeth will also be deployed with 2 squadrons of F-35B Lightning II jets, likely to be from the RAF and the U.S. Marine Corps. Plans have also been drawn up to send sister ship, HMS Prince of Wales, to the region when it finishes training. The aircraft carrier is said to be around 18 months behind HMS Queen Elizabeth in terms of battle readiness. The Times revealed that the deployment is meant to counter an increasingly aggressive China. The Navy is expected to get the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited (HAL) built twin-engine carrier aircraft by 2032. It will replace the MiG-29Ks in service, which are scheduled to start going out by 2034, said a defense source to The Hindu. The Indian Navy currently operates just one aircraft carrier, a former Soviet vessel, Admiral Gorshkov, rechristened in India as Vikramaditya, which embarks the Russian MiG-29K fighters. India is expected to receive a second aircraft carrier by 2022. The first indigenous aircraft carrier, IACI, Vikrant, is in the advanced stages of construction with all 4 gas turbines, main engines having been started, power generation systems comprising of 8 diesel alternators ready, and trials of ship's major systems and auxiliary equipment in progress. The deadline to deliver the ship was in 2018, but it is delayed to 2022. Minister of State for Defense Sirpad Naik said that ship's targeted delivery was affected due to delay in supply of aviation equipment from Russia. DRDO's offer to develop this twin-engine deck-based fighter jet for the Indian Navy and the design specifications for it have been finalized. Officials had stated that there will not be enough aircraft to operate from both carriers, that is, INS Vikramaditya and Vikrant. The Indian Navy currently possesses 45 Russian MiG-29K aircraft and is evaluating a response to Request for Information (RFI) from Boeing with its F-18 Super Hornet and Dassault Aviation with its Rafale jets. Both companies had assured that their jets can operate off the ski jump of Vikramaditya and in future the Vikrant. The baseline Super Hornets have a top speed of 1,190 miles per hour, armed with AIM-9 Sidewinder, AIM-7 Sparrow and AIM-120 NLAW missiles with an unrefueled range of 1,243 miles. A twin-engine, multi-role, carrier-capable aircraft, the Boeing F/A-18 Super Hornet fighter jet is the variant of the McDonnell Douglas F/A-18 Hornet.